Hey everybody, this is Roland US Product Support. Today we're looking at the Juno-Gi Mobile Synthesizer with digital recorder. Great synthesizer. It's got a lot of really cool features in it. Over 1,300 sounds, 128 voice polyphony, 8-track digital recorder. It's battery powered. It has 2 multi-effects units and also a universal reverb and chorus that are applied to all the parts. It has a USB memory to be able to save your settings, as well as to play back WAV or MP3 files, standard MIDI files. So it's a great keyboard, does a lot of cool stuff. We get asked a lot about editing on the Juno-Gi, how to change the sounds around, how to set up splits, layers, how to make changes to the sounds and save them. So I want to go over a couple of things. First of all, we're just going to talk about general editing on the GI. As you may know, there are 4 parts. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can just see the main screen better. There are 4 parts in each live set. As you can see, we're in live set play right here, and pretty much anytime you're going to select a sound from the front panel, you're still in live set. So all of these are live set. So they may or may not have 4 tones turned on at any one time. So to edit any of these, we're going to go to the menu button right up here on the upper left, right by the screen. Press that. First option, Live Set Edit. Press Enter, and you can see now it says Live Set Edit 1. There's 3 different sort of main screens that we would look through here. And you can see you have your 4 tones laid out on the screen top to bottom. Upper 1, upper 2, lower 1, lower 2. So these are the 4 tones that make up a live set on the Juno-Gi, and you can combine them, use them to create splits and layers. And, it's a very flexible system for doing lots of different things. You can see in this particular example, upper 1 is turned on. It's highlighted here. The other 3 are not even turned on. So what we're playing right now is only this first option, Jazz Scat 1, Vox. If I want to turn on another one, upper 2 for instance, there's a couple different ways to do it. One easy way is hold shift in any of these screens, and you can see now that under the screen it changes, and this also changes. So upper 1 is turned on, this one's red. If I want to turn on upper 2, I can push that button, it turns red, and also it's check marked on the screen. Let go, and you can see also now it is highlighted here on the screen. So now I have 2 parts that are going to play. They're the same thing, so if I wanted to change the second part and go to something else, and I have 2 different sounds now playing as a layer. I'll get into doing splits later on, but that's basically how you turn on and off the parts. You can select your parts here real easily. Now you can see you also have a bunch of other editing options. I'll go through these fairly quickly. Level and pan, here's where you set up the level for each of your sounds. You still got upper 1, 2, lower 1 and 2. So one of the things that we talk to a lot of people about is they're making changes and they're not hearing what they're doing. And what often happens is they may be editing this sound, but they're hearing this one instead. So it's best when you're editing sounds to turn everything off except the one you're going to use. So you can see here, this is showing that I would be editing number 2, but I'm only listening to 1. So you got to go back up to 1, and now I could turn up or down the level, the pan, do all this other editing stuff as well. Next option is pitch. Here's where you set up the octaves. So if you wanted to have one part turned on that was an octave below the other one or something like that, you could do that here. You can do coarse and fine tuning as well also. Output, this is where the each of the tones go. You can see that all of them are assigned to go through an MFX, number 1 for these 2 and MFX 2 for these 2. You can of course assign them elsewhere. And here's where you set up the amounts going to the chorus and the reverb as well. Keyboard, here's more where we get into setting key ranges, which we'll talk about when we're talking about the splits, but you can set that here for each of the 4 parts. Now we're going to hit page button, this last one. You can see we have live set edit number 2, and we have a number of different options here as well. These are offsets for each of the tones. So for instance, here's filter settings, cutoff and resonance. Here's some attack, release, and decay for your envelopes. And this can be set up separately for each of your 4 parts. Vibrato for each of the 4 parts. Once again, upper 1, 2, lower 1, 2. Velocity. Key mode, whether it's mono or poly, where you have the portamento turned on or not. And here's a filter for all your MIDI stuff. This is mostly if you're going to be using it with a sequencer or some other sort of MIDI controller keyboard, so whether it'll receive all these messages or not via MIDI to control it. And then once more, another page, live set edit 3 now. Here's sort of the more master settings for the live set. You can set the master split point, arpeggio, which part it's going to control, more control sources, once again for controlling things via MIDI, and then the switches over to the left by the pitch bend knob. You can assign what they do here for each of the live sets as well. So when you get it set up just the way you want, obviously you're going to press the right button, you can change the name of the sound, and press next, and now you have 256 user live set settings, and this is where you're going to save sets you've created yourself, so you can get back to them later for live use or whenever. So that's basic editing, getting around on the Juno-Gi. I'll get back to you later with more on setting up splits and a little more advanced editing.